Every democracy has its public rules and its hidden plans. This one began as a document, not a speech. Hundreds of pages describe how a future president could remake the government, agency by agency. It's called Project 2025, and it pulls together some of the most powerful conservative groups in America. To some, it looks like ordinary policy work, just another think tank blueprint. To others, it looks like a step-by-step guide to taking tighter control over the US government. It doesn't start in the White House. It starts in meeting rooms, drafts, and training sessions. Past versions of this mandate for leadership have already influenced real administrations. Project 2025 is the newest chapter in that story, and it's written for the next conservative president. The question is simple: planning or pre-wiring the system before voters even see the results? Publicly, Project 2025 is presented as a presidential transition project, hidden in plain sight on its own website. In its own words, it promises to restore the presidency and rein in the bureaucracy seen as out of control. Chapter by chapter, it explains who should be removed, which rules should change, and what each agency should become. Justice, education, environment, health, almost every major department appears somewhere in its pages. At the center is a single theme: a stronger, more unified presidency over the whole executive branch. In theory, that means clearer accountability. In practice, it can mean fewer independent voices inside government. The plan even comes with draft executive orders, written so they can be signed in the very first hours of a new term. Alongside the book sits a database, an invitation for loyal, like-minded staff to line up for key positions. Many of the names involved are not strangers. They're former officials and insiders from past administrations. To supporters, this is smart, a ready-made team and playbook for 2025. To critics, it sounds like a government pre-selected from the shadows. Supporters say the federal government has drifted left for decades, even when elections go the other way.
It's bold,
they
it's
argue that
visionary, and it's gonna
unelected
transform our
bureaucrats
future.
block or slow policies the public actually voted for. In this story, Project 2025 is a way to break the deep state and restore what they call accountable government. The promise is simple: if loyal people run the agencies, your everyday problems will finally be taken seriously. For audiences who already believe in a hostile, deep state, the plan feels like a long-awaited answer. Civil liberties groups tell a very different story. They warn that the blueprint reads like a plan to purge experts, politicize justice, and weaken protections around elections. To them, unitary executive is less about efficiency and more about reducing checks and balances. Some legal scholars and activists openly describe Project 2025 as a roadmap towards soft authoritarian rule. The same document is presented as either common sense reform or a recipe for one-party control. Supporters talk about draining the swamp. Critics hear something closer to stacking the deck. In the language of the plan, words like discipline and loyalty appear again and again. Some fear that under those words lies a simple test: are you loyal to the law or loyal to the leader? And if that test spreads through justice, intelligence, and regulation, the character of the government itself begins to change. Project 2025 doesn't just talk about what agencies do, it quietly reshapes who they answer to. In training materials linked to the project, future appointees are told how to hold the line against internal resistance. They're advised to move quickly, to use legal tools aggressively, and to expect pushback from career staff. For critics, that sounds less like neutral governing and more like preparing for a loyal cadre inside the state. For supporters, it's the opposite, a way to finally overcome what they see as sabotage from within. Somewhere between those two stories is the real question: where does normal political planning end, and a shadow government begin?